I remember when Pokemon Go came out a few years ago, back in 2016, it was really interesting. I really got into Pokemon Go for a few months. It was an amazing experience being able to roam around the actual environment and capture Pokemon. It became a social event. It became more relevant than Pokemon had ever been. Even though Pokemon's fairly mainstream, this was a huge cultural phenomenon beyond anything I'd really seen for a video game. It was a really exciting thing. But for me, I was really excited because it felt like it was making Pokemon really relevant, that it could maybe take Pokemon to a whole other level and bring in a much larger audience. And I really wanted Pokemon Go to allow you to transfer your Pokemon into Pokemon Sun and Moon. That never happened. We didn't get that feature until Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee for the Nintendo Switch, and it's not really that big of a deal in my opinion by this point in time. Pokemon Go has kind of dwindled quite a bit. I was only into it for a few months. I'm not really into it now, years later, and Pokemon Let's Go is more of a casualized game, not really something where you need to get all sorts of crazy Pokemon to get really competitive in the game. It's not really even being used for tournaments. But Pokemon Home is a thing. Pokemon Home is basically Pokemon Bank on steroids. You will be able to transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Go, from Pokemon Sword and Shield, from Pokemon Let's Go, from Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home, and maybe other pieces of Pokemon software as well across different platforms. This is really interesting to me because it's increasing the level of interactivity and connectivity between all the different Pokemon games. This is kind of the vision I had in mind for Pokemon a few years back. Now we will be able to play things like Pokemon Go, maybe Pokemon Masters, we'll see, and get all these cool rare Pokemon in these different Pokemon games and then bring them in to the mainline games, those being Pokemon Sword and Shield when they come out later this year. That's going to be awesome to me. I do wish Pokemon Go was more relevant nowadays, so I felt like I would actually use this feature more often, but still, Pokemon Home, bringing everything together, something that will be updated and used forevermore. Very excited about that. And another cool little thing is that it will be accessible from my phone, and I will be able to trade and interact with people from my phone with my Pokemon, and then of course all of that will be accessible in Pokemon Sword and Shield as well. So it's like having the Pokemon Sword and Shield experience on my phone to some extent, at least in terms of collecting and trading with other people. That's really cool. That connectivity between this app and Sword and Shield I think is going to be really important, because while Sword and Shield is going to be technically portable because it's on the Switch is not really the kind of thing you're going to want to have in your pocket, right? But your phone, you will. That's something I really enjoy. It seems like Pokemon Home is going to be the ideal companion app to Pokemon Sword and Shield, and that has me very excited for the future of Pokemon between this app and Sword and Shield. But before we get a little bit deeper into Pokemon Sword and Shield, I want to talk a little bit about Pokemon Sleep. That is interesting to me because I actually really appreciated the Pokemon Go craze. I enjoyed the premise of people getting out there and exploring and having physical activity and, actually tracking the amount of steps you're taking. Like, that encouraged a more healthy lifestyle. Pokemon was helping people to be more healthy, and it seems they're trying to do more of that with Pokemon Sleep by going to sleep at a particular time and then waking up at a particular time. It seems you will be rewarded for having a more healthy sleep schedule, which is something I can appreciate because I do not have a healthy sleep schedule, and I would like to have one. And maybe if they put in some games that will reward me and sort of encourage me to do that, maybe I will sleep a little bit earlier from now on and get up at a more reasonable time from now on, more consistently. Maybe. And it's interesting. I can't wait to see more on that. I think it's going to be a cool little app. And in regards to the rest of the conference, I think it's interesting that another Detective Pikachu is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Pokemon Masters seems like an interesting mobile game. I'm not usually really into mobile games. While I am talking about Pokemon Go a lot, it's really the only mobile game I've put in more than a few hours into, so I'm usually not excited about them, but Pokemon Masters does seem kinda cool, so fingers crossed that's actually a fun game. But what I'm really excited about in regards to Pokemon is the Direct next week. I can't wait to learn all about this game, all of the features and modes and attacks and moves and techniques and combinations and new Pokemon and evolutions, all these different things that they were going to learn about during the Direct. I'm really excited for. I had my own predictions for that already. I put it out a week ago. I'll have a link to that video in the description below and the end card or whatever. Multiple ways you can check out that video. It'll be pretty easy to find. But I'm really excited for this thing. I think we're going to learn a lot about Pokemon Sword and Shield next week, obviously. But what I'm really excited about is the potential future with Pokemon. Considering what Pokemon Home is going to be able to do by having that constant connectivity with your phone to Pokemon Sword and Shield, being able to trade and use Pokemon with your phone regardless of where you are, I think is going to be a cool little thing. I'm happy that Pokemon from Pokemon Bank and Let's Go and Pokemon Go will also be able to find a way into Pokemon Home and thus into Pokemon Sword and Shield. That makes me happy. I'm really excited for that. But I also am kind of excited at just seeing Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch. I remember when they had the first reveal trailer for the Nintendo Switch and they showed at the very end of the trailer a whole bunch of people playing Splatoon in a tournament. They had the planning stages where they used the Switch in tabletop mode to sort of plan around, figure out what they were going to do, and then when they went to the actual stage, they would plug their Switches into the docks and then they would be visible on the big screens for everyone to see, and it'd be a spectacle. I love that. Why? Because I am into competitive battling. I used to go to Pokemon tournaments. I thought it was really cool, except back then it was with the DS and the 3DS, and you would have to connect to a little box and it would be kind of janky and it wouldn't work always and the Wi-Fi wasn't always great and it wasn't necessarily the most streamlined experience. But now, because of the Nintendo Switch, I can only imagine going to a Pokemon tournament, having docks across the table, you put your Switch in, it'll be available to see on a giant beautiful HD monitor, and everyone's going to be able to enjoy the battle alongside with you, and it's going to be a spectacle, and I want Pokemon to be a spectacle. That's kind of what it's about to me, having these giant epic battles in these Coliseum-like environments with an announcer and people watching. That's really exciting to me. I think that's going to be kind of a focus with Pokemon Sword and Shield. Notice how they have these Coliseums and the jerseys. I think it's going to be a really cool little thing, and the premise of this sort of tying into actual competitive play in the future is also be kind of cool to see as well. I am excited for the future of Pokemon. I love it. It's going to be great to have Pokemon Sword and Shield on the Switch, an actual mainline game on a home console. It's going to be awesome to have a Pokemon Bank on steroids available on your mobile phone that can interact with all of your different Pokemon games, bringing them all together as well. It seems like it's going to function like the perfect companion app to Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I feel like we are going into a very special generation for Pokemon. Consider me hyped. Yes, I am. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching. This is AndresRestart. I will see you all really soon. Before I go, I want to remind you guys that we are sponsored by Audible. By clicking the link in the description below, you can get a free trial to Audible for 30 days and read an audiobook of your choosing. Check it out. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.